Genesis 23, excuse me, 32. Genesis 32 and 22. 32 and 22. You have it signified by saying amen and standing to your feet in honor and reverence of the word of God. Genesis 32, starting at the 22nd verse. And he arose the same night and took his 2 wives and 2 maids and his 11 children and crossed the ford of Jabbok. And he took them and sent them across the stream. Somebody say across the stream. Across the stream. And he sent across whatever he had. And when he was alone, and a man wrestled with him until daybreak. When he saw that he had not prevailed against him, he touched the socket of his thigh, so that the socket of Jacob's thigh was dislocated while he wrestled with him. Somebody say, while he wrestled with him.
While he wrestled with him.
And he said, let me go, for the dawn is breaking. But he said, I will not let you go until you bless me. So he said to him, what is your name? He said, Jacob. And he said, your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, for you have strived with God and with man, and prevailed. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. For your notes, we're talking about how to win the fight. That's your title, How to Win the Fight. Still in the context of dealing with our church vision coming up in 2017, we're dealing with how to nurture the church. But this context really talks about a part of nurturing that we don't want to really deal with in the church. And this is the area that really not only our church, but the church at large deals with and struggles with. And that's simply how to deal with struggles and still nurture. How to deal with struggles and still nurture. One of the biggest problems with this particular text is that you don't see an encounter with God until he was left alone. And so what's interesting, Brother Gary, is that when he sent everybody across the stream and across the river to do whatever they needed to do and go wherever they needed to go, that's when you see, according to our text in the 24th verse, that Jacob was then left alone, and then a man wrestled, or in some translations will say an angel. He wrestled with an angel. But the significance of this particular encounter, the significance is that he had an encounter with a divine entity only after he was alone. Now let me parenthetically insert this. Let me put something right there in the middle of all that and say that there are times when you and I are alone that God can finally let you know the real battles you have.
Amen.
Let me say it to you again. Some of you think that your battle is with your family and the issues going on there. Some of you think the battle is with your job and the problems you have there. Some of you may even think it's the battle that you have with that person who don't like you and always trying to come for you. But let me explain to you, the real battle you have is with the unresolved issues in your life. You have a perspective problem, because what happened along the way of God blessing you, you ended up getting comfortable. Things were going well. Everything was moving in what you considered the positive. You thought everything was perfect and all God needed to do is just go ahead and do a freeze frame and do a mannequin challenge in your life and keep things just the way they were. Huh? That's what you thought. God just needed to stop right there and do nothing. That's it. Just keep everything in this freeze frame. But what you realize is that when God moved a little bit, because I love this scripture here, because what happens here, Brother Tom, it actually alludes to the fact that there was a point where God may have not been present. How do you know that? He said when he was left alone, then a man. And then a man. Somebody say, and then a man. And so the first thing I need you to identify in your context as you're writing on the notes It seems like until I am out of the comfort of blessing and security, say that with me, until I am outside the comfort of blessing and security, until that point, I really don't know my status. See, some of you have never been challenged before. You've just always been in a good family that covered you. Some of you have never really experienced hardship in our country before because you've always been under a good administration. Some of you that always talk about Reagan's time, or you talk about maybe even the Clintons' time, or you talk about whoever you think it was good. In your mind, as long as everything around me was good, I never had to look at myself to see if I was good. But when you are brought into an isolated place, and it's just you and God begins to run down the litany of everything wrong with you. That's why I'm grateful for these seasons of trying and testing that God puts the church through, because he begins to pull out all the stonewashed saints, the saints who believe they were foundational to the success of everything God has ever done. And then God puts them in a room like an interrogation room and just begins to run down the litany of everything wrong with them.
My God.
See, you didn't realize how much of a gossip you were because you had a whole row that you could talk to. You didn't realize how much of a liar you were because you had a whole row in which you could lie with. You didn't realize how despondent and despicable you were because you had a gang that did the same things you did. And now you look around, and the folks don't think like you anymore. They don't talk like you. They don't sound like you. And now you finally realize that there's something wrong because there are different people with different views. Jacob was known as a trickster all of his life. Able to do whatever he wanted to, use his manipulation to get whatever he wanted to get. And then all of a sudden, he said, I'm just going to send my folks ahead. And then God met him right there. I want to talk to the people right now. I didn't come to talk to everybody. I just come to talk to a few folk who right now are in a point in their life where they feel like everything that I had security in now is moving away. Everything I was comforted. You know what I just found out? They were giving a report out on the news. They were saying that there are some bills that are possibly on the table to challenge Social Security and the way in which it's set up. And there were some people that said, as long as I can make it to Social Security, I'll be all right. And now that possible security may change. Now I ain't talking about the unbelievers. Now, if you're an unbeliever, I'm not talking to you. But if you are a believer, I'm going to embarrass you. If you were confident in a man-made item more than you were God.
Amen.
Now, see, same way with that job. As long as you were making 5 figures, over $40,000 a year, and your house, you could pay your house note, and you could pay your bill. You were comfortable. It had nothing to do in your mind with your relationship with God, but your ability to manage your finances. God takes you in a room and shows you that everything that made you think you didn't need to worship that hard, that made you think you didn't need to press that hard, everything that came into your life to make you think you didn't have to spend that much time with God, now God has put you in a position where now you're caught up in a fight. Now you're in a place where everything is moving you. Everything is challenging you. People now aren't talking to you. People now aren't liking you. The people who agreed now don't agree no more. Now the people who were able to cover you, they can't cover you no more. And now you're forced to turn your face.
Amen.
To the Lord. Now that God has moved your comfort. Now you're in a place right now where God is challenging you. And he's asking you one question. Now why did you come here? Now why? Before you came because you saw that cute girl and you thought you'd get a chance to talk to her. You saw that gentleman who dressed real nice and looked like he had money. Now you thought you were going to get in. You came to the place where the people came, and now you realize it's all different. So now God is asking you, what brings you here? Somebody say, I'm in a fight. Come here, brother.
Fight.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You look strong, like you look like an angel. Be an angel. All right. All right. So now you find yourself in a situation with something much bigger than you. Something that you may or may not be able to control. Why? Because it seems like every move you make, all you do is just go backwards. Go put your hands up. And so now what's happening is you're battling and you're trying to get beyond this entity. And it seems like you just can't get any further. Not realizing that it is God who is put behind this entity to stop you from moving. What do you mean? That depression that you just can't shake. I just can't get out. One day I'm good. The other day I'm bad. One week I'm good, the other week I'm. But I've been kind of praying. I've been kind of believing. I've been kind of reading my Bible, and I find that I just can't get. Why can't I get beyond it? Because you don't want to admit the causes that you are consistently involved in keep you here. You want to get the relief, but you don't want to let go of the causes. God, I don't want to get cancer, but I love these cigarettes. God, just heal me from cancer so I can smoke again. God, I don't want to let go of this bottle, but I don't want the hangover. Oh, God, I won't. Sister Lynn, I won't. I like the way it feels at night, but I don't want the STD. See, you're in a battle. You're fighting. You can't move beyond the place because you won't admit and let God change your life, that your life is ratchet without Him. The angel finally said in your scripture, he said, listen, we've been fighting at this too long. Let me go. He said, I'm not going to let you go until you bless me. Meaning that particular context, you'll love it, Sandy, because he was saying, I'm not going to let you go until you fix what's wrong with me. And you know what he had to do to fix him? He had to damage him.
My God.
Amen.
Y'all didn't catch that.
Amen.
They didn't catch that, brother. You can sit down. They didn't catch that. See, the damage denoted he had to check. See, old folks used to sing it. He said, you know, I got a new walk. I got a new talk. What that angel did is he changed the way that Jacob was able to walk. But it hurt him. Okay.
Yes.
Yet you had to get exposed publicly so that you could get right privately.
Yes.
Amen.
You had to go through that pain on your job and get ostracized and lose it so that you could finally realize that God didn't call you to that place of compromise and comfort.
Yes.
Amen.
You had to go through that issue in your family and be considered the black sheep so that God could finally let you know I didn't make you like them. Oh, I wish I had somebody in this room that understood that God said that I had to make it public. I had to make you feel like you couldn't take it. I had to let you cry every night. I had to let you realize how detrimental it was what you were going through because you would not let go any other way.
Amen.
Look at your neighbor and say, a storm has a way of removing what you won't let go of.
Amen.
That's why you were in that storm. That's why you were struggling. And that's why you thought God hated you. No, he gave his greatest act of love. He gave his greatest act of love by putting you through that problem. Because it was not unto death. It was not to destroy you. But that very thing was to finally put you in that place of promise. But because you were so ignorant of what you thought deliverance looked like.
Amen.
Amen. Help us.
You thought your deliverance was a morning after pill.
Jesus. My God.
I ought to go home and preach to myself. I got a word for somebody in here that constantly thinks that we just come here for the fellowship, or we come here to have fun, or we come here just ain't all, baby. We come here to get help. This is the hospital that should never close its doors, because we can change minds in here. We can pull people away from their struggles in here. We can get people off of alcohol in here. We can get people out of detrimental situations and bring them out of their pain if they're willing to admit, God, I need my issue taken away.
Amen.
Yes. My God.
But when he touched him, he said he dislocated his thigh. So then he started having that little walk like Richard now. He had that walk. That walk there said that I'm changed. I'm different. I'm not like I used to be. And I can sing the mysteries of heaven.
All right.
But look at the boldness that God will give you. God will give you a I don't care spirit.
Amen.
They talking about me. I don't care.
All right.
I'm praising God. They don't know what I've been through. Why? Because I don't care. They feel some kind of way about me. Guess what? I don't care. Oh, you got a problem with what I'm driving now because you like what I was driving before? I don't care.
All right.
Oh, you think my house too big? I don't care. You think I got too much food in my refrigerator? I don't. Why? Because it was God who did this. This had nothing to do with me. And I won't hide my blessings because you don't like it. I won't hide my peace because you don't want it. I won't hide my confidence because you can't understand it. Because I know that it was nobody but God who brought me through the hell. Listen, it took me too much to compromise and fool with your tail anyway. And now that I'm free and I feel better and I love what God is doing in my life, I'm going to celebrate Him right here. Got the nerve for Tony to say, well, remember what you used to do? What makes you think you qualified to serve? Watch it, because God said I am. Because God said it, and I believe it. And that settles it. And I don't care what you think. I don't care what you heard of. And I don't care what type of lie you can even conjure up. Because there's nothing that the devil can do to remove you from what God is doing. You know? See, I wish somebody would understand this. When he said, I wasn't going to let you go till you bless me, Sandy, he said, but you know what, you know what the thing I love about what Jacob did, though? Jacob didn't give him conditions on how to bless him.
Oh, amen.
Because not only did he change his walk, but he changed what he answered to.
Amen.
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 They used to call you so-and-so. I ain't going to say too many names. One of y'all might try to answer to it. They used to call you this or that. But then you realize that all of a sudden, one meeting, you went to that meeting last night, and your heart wasn't right, and something got a hold of you. And then all of a sudden, those things you used to answer to, you said, I can't answer to them no more.
Amen.
Those things they used to accuse me of, I can't answer to them anymore. I'm different. I'm changed. I am different. And it was nobody but God.
Amen.
Let me say this to you. I'm going to say it this way, and then we're going to be done. Don't go back to answering to your past, because people don't want to accept your future.
Amen.
That's why when people try to tell me, well, you know this is their history, I said, I hear that, but I know their future.
All right. Amen.
And I am working with them because of where God is taking them, not because of where they've been.
Amen.
Because if that was the case, none of us would be qualified. And so I'm grateful that, look, you know what? You know how grateful I am, Christy? I'm grateful that God has covered my past so well that you don't know half of it.
Amen. Say it. Say it.
Look, I don't look like what I've been through. I don't smell like what I've been through.
All right.
I don't wear like what I've been through.
Amen.
And I sure don't walk like what I've been through. And so whenever they have those moments, Brother Don, about you, they say, do you remember? You just tell them this. You just tell them, stop. In the name. Amen. Come on, everybody stand. I had a flashback, Brother Tony. I had a flashback. I always went somewhere. Hey, pray for me, Sister Monique. Pray for me. Pray hard for me.